What's up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys with um, brand new, well, not brand new, but with another Harpie deck profile. And this one is pretty much coming off of my live stream, and then I did some more separate testing after my live stream, and really just started incorporating a lot of things of here and there, and doing a lot more to test it out before the end of the month because we only got a few more days left. And I just time to this recording found out, yeah, we are getting a large portion of reprints from the next battle of Legends pack that's supposed to be coming out, I believe, at the end of the week. So I am looking forward to that, and I'm also going to look forward to a lot of the stuff reprinted, because some of it staples like reprints of Solemn Judgment, reprints of Tornado Dragon, and a couple of other things too. So what I'm going to do for this profile is a lot different from what I normally do. I'm going to actually go through the deck in the extra deck first, and then I'll talk about my choices and stuff in the deck as a whole. Alright, so let's get through this. So for the main deck, we'll start off with the monsters. My monster lineup is pretty simple. It's one set of Harpie Chandler, one full set of the Harpie Queen, one full set, no, I'm sorry, this isn't a full set anymore. It's a duo of Harpie Dancer and a Harpie's Pet Dragon, a full set of Harpie's Harpist. I'm sorry, Harpie Harpist. It's Harpie's Harpist. We need some more of those Harpies monsters. In full set of Harpie Lady 1. And for my last monster, I'll say two Durumadals. These are two berry statues of Exterminate. So that is my monster lineup. For my spells, alright, I'm running a full set of Hysteric Sign, 2 Harpies Hunting Ground, and 1 Elegant Egotist, 2 Ties of the Brethren, 1 Raigeki, 1 Dark Hole, 1 Monster Reborn, and 1 Symbols of Heritage. And that rounds out my spells. To my traps, a full set of Harpie's Featherstorm, a full set of Hysteric Party, 2 Anti-Spell Fragrance, 1 Solemn Strike, 1 Solemn Warning, and 1 Red Reboot. And that pretty much is it for the traps in the main deck. For the extra, 1 full set of Great Fly, 1 Firefighting Durumadal, 1 Decode Talker, 2 Lightning Chidori, 1 Castel, 1 Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, 1 Ice Beast 05. Okay. And to round it off, 1 Gaga Cowboy, 1 Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, 1 number 11 Big Eye, 1 number 41 Babushka the Terribly Tired Cheap Eater, and 1 Galaxy Eyes Tomahawk. 1 Galaxy Tomahawk. Why say Galaxy Eyes? I guess because every time I hear Galaxy, it's always followed by Galaxy Eyes. So, alright, let's go through it piece by piece. So we'll just start off with the monster lineup. Seeing as Harpie Chandler is one of our best monsters, that's why she is still in a multiple of set. Discard a Harpie card, just summon a Harpie monster. If you're controlling the dragon, she changes their level from 4 to 7. So it gives you the rank 7 plays, it gives you a rank 4 plays. And eventually it gives you link plays now, because drop a monster, link summon, and bam, there we go. 3 Queen is because of the fact that I want to search for Harpie's Hunting Ground. It gives fuel to Harpie Chandler, and it's just another monster to add on to Hysteric Party, and through her own effect to discard to summon to search for Hunting Ground. So she'll be in the graveyard, and she'll be treated as Harpie Lady. I'm only running 2 Dancer to fit in the quota of just making sure the deck has its monsters, but I'm not dropping it to 1 Dancer because Dancer is still relatively useful with Harpies because you can still bounce them back and abuse Hunting Grounds effect. You can also attach them from Hysteric Party, so if Party does fall off, then bam, you can at least save your monster, essentially your Harpie Chandler, from being hit from that. Other than that, she is pretty much still the lowest stat in terms of the level 4 Harpies, because she gets under Bottomless Trap Hole with ease, and she can easily pop it or pop another card in response. Harpie's Pet Dragon this year, relatively because of the fact that, who caught it? It's a level 7, it helps Harpie Chandler become level 7, you can get into your Galaxy Tomahawk, you can make all those tokens. It's a really good defensive monster, really good offensive monster. The only thing that downsides hurts Dragon is it doesn't have any other effects except for gaining attack and defense for every Harpie Lady on the field. If it did have multiple effects, it would be relatively more seen in play and relatively more useful to the archetype. Other than making Chandler 7 and going in for the rank 7 place. Harpie Harpist. Being the winged beast Garm, she's a good discard target for Chandler. She's a good search target through Hysteric Sign. She's a standout monster on her own with her own ability to bounce a wind monster from your field. A winged beast you control and a face-up monster opponent controls back to hand. So if you are playing Divine Wind Mist Valley, she's relatively good as another option in terms of returning cards. Before I go into Harpie Lady 1, I just want to note every Harpie you see here, with the exception of Dragon, is treated as Harpie Lady Water on the field in the graveyard, which leads them access to activating cards like Elegant Egotist, Hysteric Party's effect to special summon them from the graveyard, and the effects of Elegant Egotist, summon them Harpie Lady or sisters from the deck to our hand to the field. So, with that said, let's go into Harpie Lady 1. So, just off the bat, I'm not running Cyber Harpie because I want this to be more so attack based than it is just having a stand-on monster. This is the monster that you do target to summon from Elegant Egotist, because this card shares Harpie Lady. It's always shares Harpie Lady, no matter where she is. Hand, field, deck, or graveyard. And the only thing really to be negated is the fact that she'll give 300 attack to all wind monsters. Although she would be the lowest attack next to Dancer, in other cards like, I don't know, Skill Drain or being the heck with Life Effect Veiler, she still is relatively one of the best ideas of Harpies because she gives that additional attack boost. I'm not counting out Harpie Lady 2 in terms of just negating flip effects. Harpie 3 isn't really one of those things that you'll see really ever, because of the fact that you can easily just overlay the monster she attacked into or she was fighting with that did survive and can attack for 2 turns, or any other mechanic that pretty much rids it from the field or does something to where it's unaffected by her effect. And then Vanilla Harpie Lady is one of those monsters that you fit it in like as a one-of to use stuff like Link Spider. The barrier statues of Stormwind really good against a lot of non-wind attributed decks. I think the only thing you'd have to worry about is them playing the Nightmare Wind monster. But other than that, if you can supply enough defense and offense to this card, barrier statue Stormwind comes in handy a lot of times. And really amazing monster in defense. So that is the barrier statue of the Stormwind. Onto the spells. Hysteric Sign is pretty much its own set. We're going to talk about the 2 Harpies Hunting Ground. I normally do run 3, but to fit in the barrier statues, I dropped 1 and just wanted to play opt into a large portion of, not really so much of back row, being as most decks, if they're running back row, as counter traps. With the exception of spells, if I'm forcing them under anti-spell fragrance. And then I still have Harpies, I still have Queen to search for it. And there's no real need to run Terraforming because I have a monster that does it. And if I do get Warning or Ghost Ogre, then that's one less card they have to deal with, but one more card they still have to deal with because I can flip Hysteric Party and go in for it. Other than that, it's the 200 attack boost, which may not be much to most cards, but in Harpies, it does allow a lot of Harpie monsters to become beaters and knock over things. The one ego is simply just due to the fact that you have Harpie Lady 1, and you can easily spam her out and go into play. Ties of the Brethren. Some other options, if people are wanting to run them, is Swallow's Nest. And really, it's type exclusive in this case. Especially with the barrier statue, you can pump up the barrier statue, get a Harpist on the field, and just go off from there. That's what Ties of the Brethren is there for. Late game, it's just an easy free pop, but if you can get this early game and do a lot of stuff, go for it. The only thing I don't recommend is recommending you playing a card that would stop you from playing this, like Pod Duality, because that probably the only thing right now I can think of that says you can't special summon after you've pretty much got into your deck to get the card and then try to play off of it. But this is really good for a lot of type exclusive decks, and Harpies is one of them, especially if you're playing Barrier Statue, and getting a lot of your Barrier Statue stuff together. And Harpie Dancer, because that's a good combination there. In most teams, your one-ofs are just here to make sure you have a lot of synergy. That's why I'm running them. I want to talk about Symbols of Heritage for a second. And Symbols of Heritage is a really good card with Harpies because everyone shares the name Harpie Lady, with the exception of Dragon, whether on the field or in the graveyard. So when you get this, you can go and you can get your Harpie Dancer, you can get your Harpie Chandler, you can get one of your monsters to start beating into stuff, and really just deal with a lot of cards that you getting a lot. It's pretty much premature burial before the name. If it was at multiples, this would be a great card for Harpies, but I think that's part of the reason why it's at 1, because a lot of decks can abuse Symbols of Heritage because of the fact Symbols of Heritage can get monsters that share that same name. Another archetype I can think of that has it is Cyber Dragon, because practically Cyber Dragon is similar to Harpies, where they have a ton of monsters who are treated as Cyber Dragon while in the field or in the graveyard, and it helps fill up the Symbol of Heritage. Or decks that can spam multiple monsters with the same name and can recycle them. For traps, Featherstorm and Hysteric Party are pretty much two of Harpie's go-to trap cards. In terms of effects, discard one card, just summoning Harpie Ladies from your graveyard to the field, is what Hysteric Party is optimally seen for, and still one of relatively the best traps Harpies has to offer. That was until we had Harpie's Featherstorm. Harpie's Featherstorm is one of Harpie's best trap cards next to Party, because it stops hand traps, which can be an issue. It stops effects from going crazy. The only thing it doesn't stop is continuous effects, which sucks. Especially when your matchup is Trickstar, and I've been testing against a ton of Trickstar, and that's been doing too well. So I relatively... So, sorry about the interruption, but yeah, Featherstorm is relatively one. It deals with those hand traps, especially against, like I said, the continuous effects are the issue, especially when you have to deal with cards like Trickstar, who, if they're on the field, they get their effects off, and then they can just do whatever they want. That's what I've been running into lately, because thanks Konami for not banning any of the Trickstar support, because that does relatively factor in. That's also why I'm playing a lot of the barrier statues and stuff to deal with a lot of those decks, because if you can stop a summon of a monster that isn't wind, you're pretty much set, or your core attribute. Unless you're running a light attributed deck and you're putting in barrier statue of the heavens. Good luck, because they're light. So, the last thing I wanted to talk about before I got rid of Featherstorm is, of course, Feather Duster. We don't know if we're ever going to get Duster in the TCG. I hope they don't errata it. If they do errata it, it'll probably just be niche to fit Harpies. but OCG has it. It hasn't been errata. It's just more so of a weight thing. But that's pretty much what I'm fingers crossed hoping it's coming. If it doesn't, there's nothing we can do. But that would be a nice thing to at least have all three effects be able to go through with this card. And if the card does get destroyed by an opponent, you can go get your Feather Duster from deck or graveyard. And it also would leave in the case of not running so many Hunting Ground, because bam, you have Duster active. And not only effect, but you can also retrieve it. Okay, and then we'll go into Anti-Spell Fragrance. One of the oldest cards really old, one of the oldest cards in this game. Very early steps of VGO. And combining this with Harpies is amazing now that we have access to Hunting Ground. And with Hunting Ground, you can activate it, flip this, and then go crazy with its effect. I mean, to force your opponent to set their spells, forcing your opponent to really much just deal with a lot of stuff that you normally wouldn't have to deal with. But just putting Dancer, having access to Dancer, popping spells, forcing them to set those spells. And there are a lot of spells you don't want to deal with from your opponents. So, in the TCG, it would really matter because of the fact that no one really fears back row destruction. And then the only real cards that you'd have to deal with are one-of cards like Mystical Face Typhoon, Cosmic Cyclone. Twin Twister was a thing, but Twin Twister, most people would just hit one-ofs. Unless you're running field spells and stuff. So with Hunting Ground, you can take advantage of it, force them to set it, and then bam, start popping it as soon as you possibly can. So that is them. And then I took the initiative of one-ofs. Not running Judgment till I get another copy of Judgment. I do like the way Strike and Warning work. I want to also talk about Red Reboot, because this is actually a really amazing card to deal with a lot of other counter traps, especially if your opponent's playing Warning, Strikes, Judgments. You can pay half your life points activated from your hand. You negate the activation of a trap card. Force your opponent to set that card, and then set another trap card from your deck. And then to the end of the turn, your opponent can activate other trap cards. Till then, cannot activate other trap cards. So with your Harpies, you can easily pop that other trap, pop the cards you were negating, and then go on from there. It's it's really, really good card that I wanted to take some time out to talk about. I have been using it before. I took it out, but now I'm putting it back in because I cannot deal with enough of these traps at the moment. So there's a lot of things that you usually deal with, a lot of things that you want to negate when you come to those situations. And it's not too bad of paying half your life points, but like I said, you're really just dealing with trap cards at that point. So that's pretty much it for those. That's the main deck at its own. And then for the extra deck, no Nightmares right now, no Sharudra, and no Barrel Loader Dragon, because a lot of those monsters, in terms of links, they need a lot of monsters in order to do a lot of the stuff they do. And in most cases, I don't want to waste so much resources on making a lot of those monsters. And because a lot of these newer monsters are saying no tokens, it does leave out to a lot of monsters. So relatively, if I can go 3 or less with my Link monster, then I can go at least 3 or less with my Link monster. And that's why I'm using Decode Talker instead of stuff like Firewall Dragon, Firewall, Sharudra Dreadroot, Barrel Loader, because those are pretty much 3 big ones that are out there. I know there's the one that's the cover monster for Flames of Destruction. I don't exactly know what it does. It does something, I just don't have it. And then the Nightmares, if I was using any Nightmares, I think it'd be the cheapest ones, and it's probably the Phoenix and the Goblin, if I'm not mistaken. Because the Goblins win, the Phoenix is actually remorseful, depending on what it's co-linked to. And just because of the fact, I think they need monsters with 2 same monsters that hold the same attribute. So that works really well with Harpies because they all hold the same attribute. But Gravefly, really good monster for when we finally have our Wind Link monster. And the attack boost he gives, the recovery he gives, and just the fact that With Galaxy Tomahawk, you can easily just put this monster on the board as fast as you can, put a set of them, and not be worried. Firefighter Daruma Doll, if you're playing Winged Beast, this would actually be a good recovery card. I was considering running Gerudo the Wind Spirit, because then I can retrieve the monster I banished with Daruma Doll. But Daruma Doll has to at least start taking out stuff. And unfortunately, he's not a Wind or a Winged Beast, so he's not going to get much attack. But if he can take out some weenies, take out some of the little guys and tokens and stuff, then that'd be great. Because he doesn't have to destroy them and send them to. He just has to destroy them and just has to send them to the graveyard. And then you can get back the stuff that you banished off of Garuda. So if anyone's running Garuda, wants to run Garuda or Sylphie, Daruma Doll is a great option to support. And then Deco Talker is just a good link monster. Because he can negate stuff, he gains 500 for what he's targeting. In sequential situation, if you can link into him, go for it, and you can go into your other monsters. The only downside to Deco Talker is he excludes tokens, and I would love to use a monster that doesn't exclude tokens. That was a code monster, but unfortunately, none of those really exist. They either need effect monsters or need other Cyberse monsters, and I don't want to run a whole bunch of link monsters in this extra deck because I still want to use and have access to a large portion of my rank 4 and my rank 7 entry. So that's why you don't see a lot of the other monsters, as well as a lot of those other monsters are very expensive right now. And I'm still waiting for the 10s, because apparently the 10s are going to have Barrel Loader and Cerebra. So I at least have access to them, but I won't have Firewall, unless I decide to get Firewall. Main staples that I've had through the series in terms to the Harpie archetype in their extra deck in terms of rank 4s, Ice Beast, Phantasmal, Castel, Chidori. Just the 5 of pretty much Harpie's most utilized and very, very aggressive offense and defensive wise extra deck monsters. Then for the rest of the extra deck, I do know about the new changes to the time rule. So it makes potent sense that Cowboy and Red Eyes come back. Red Eyes is really accessible thanks to Pet Dragon, Monster Reborn in the Pet Dragon. It can be destroyed by card effect while it has the material, and every time something will resolve from your opponent, it will burn them for 500. So it's not too bad of a card there. Cowboy, just a whole burn for 800 to get some little chip damage off if you possibly can. I am going to be looking for Queen Dragoon Dijin, because she could help tremendously now with getting into monsters like Red Eyes, because of the fact that Dragon will be most likely in the graveyard, or Dragon's a dead draw and you did shoot with Chandler, so that you can go into it and then have access for at least the other two Chandlers to have their chance to use Dragon. Other than that, the burn mechanic is here just in case of those situations. Big Eye, just snatch and steal at that point. And the most defensive I can talk about is Babushka, the terribly tired Tape Eater. Even though you may not want to first turn this, if you first turn it, you might as well just go all out, or set up your stuff so you can go all out. Once you flip into attack mode, once you start taking out your opponent's stuff, and then just start beating in. I am glad that I grabbed me a copy of this. What's funnier is now it's getting the reprint, which I did see the reprint coming. I did expect it actually to come this fast, because they said it's in. I thought it would come in those 10s first, but this is a really good staple, so I'm not surprised it's in the Battles of Legends as a reprint. Other than that, the only real issue I have with Babushka is try to get rid of Babushka so I can go into my other extra deck monsters. So Deco Talker is still an option. I'm glad it's not a Beast Warrior or Beast, because then people could really abuse this card. But I do like what it does, how innovative it is in defense or in attack. And then the last monster is, the last card I want to talk about before I wrap this up, of course, is the Galaxy Tomahawk, the token generator. That's pretty much what this is. And that's also why I said a lot of the monsters in the extra deck are the way they are, because I don't want to run into that situation where I can't drop off 5 of my tokens and then I can't drop a whole bunch of other things. I'm not trying to flood this deck with a whole bunch of here or there link monsters, because then those here or there link monsters that do nothing, I want them to do something or relative to my offensive plays, or at least defensive plays. Hopefully this doesn't get hit in TCG. I have a funny feeling it might get, but the way it's just generically defensive could be a good thing for it not to get hit, but we never know, never see. But I'm just at least glad we have something to do for Harpies to at least generate a lot of those tokens and stuff, to where we can play Great Fly and go into a lot of other things. And I want to thank the person who did tell me about this and said go into this. It's a really good setup for your deck. It's been amazing. So it also makes Dragon a really useful monster now than times before. So that is pretty much it for this deck profile. I know it's very, very long, but I wanted to make sure I covered all my bases. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, you guys, it's PJ signing out. Take care.